What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Andrew's Reptile Arc. I'm Andrew, and this week we are doing a video on Tegu lighting and heating. So for new viewers, this is Bowser. He is our male red Tegu. And for the older viewers, you will know him pretty well. But for this video, we will be covering the lighting. We have 4 bulbs in this cage. We have 2 right there, right here, 1 right here, and the nighttime one over there. And we'll talk about all the aspects and the reasons why we have all these bulbs. Remember, these bulbs will vary depending on your setup. You do want to measure the basking distance, which is from the bulb to the platform that you're trying to get the basking platform to be. A little balancing act right there. But that is the major thing that you need to know. You need to know the distance in inches, centimeters, whatever you use. In this case, it's about 14 inches. So we have 2 bulbs, and we will talk about the importance of that right now. So Bowser's just relaxing on his basking platform while we talk about the 2 lights we have for his heat bulbs. Now, 2 light bulbs are better for larger reptiles like Bowser because it spreads out the basking platform or the basking area a lot more. Now, big lizards like him require stronger bulbs or stronger temperatures that 1 bulb can't really do or is unsafe for the reptile. Now, when we say it's unsafe for the reptile, the bulbs can be so strong that they can actually focus on just a specific area and burn your reptile if they're too hot. Now, Tegus do like it very warm on their basking platforms. We have a temp gun right here, so I'll show you how hot it is. He's not in the basking hot area per se, but we can see that it's around 120, 129, around that area. Now, Tegus do like it around the 120 to 130 degree Fahrenheit area. This is going to help them digest food and raise their body temperature to the correct temperature. Now, the first bulb we have in here, I'll give you a shot of the 2 bulbs. The one closest to us right now is a Exoterra swamp bulb. These are really good to put in high humidity animal cages because if they're splashed by water or if they get humid in the cage, they won't shatter or break. And that's about 100 watt, I believe, is in there. And the bulb in the back is a regular daylight bulb. It's a 75 watt, it's from Exoterra, and this is more of a backup bulb to complement the first one. And this provides a large area for him to bask. It doesn't capture the full platform, but it does capture up until here to about where he is right now. Now, you always want to measure the distance from the basking platform, not from the reptile's back. This will provide the correct temperature that he's supposed to be at, and most animals will take themselves away when they get too warm. As you can see, Bowser's climbing down. We haven't fed him for a few days, but he should be fed tomorrow. He's always searching for food right now. But anyway, back to lights. So all these lights are on a timer. They're on for 12 hours on, 12 hours off, which is typically the cycle you should be doing. It's not exactly what they get in the wild, but it's pretty close. So the next bulb we're covering is this linear bulb. It's actually a linear fluorescent or UVB bulb. And this is just to put out UVB. Now, UVB is used to help strengthen reptile bones, as well as to help aid in digestion and help reduce metabolic bone disease. Now, you do want a bulb that's very high in UVB because these are thick-boned and big animals, and they do need that UVB. Now this one is a little bit higher than a 10.0 bulb. He is a tropical species, but they do bask a lot, and they do have long exposure to sunlight. So you do want to have the most intense bulb for UVB possible. So you want to avoid the 5.0 bulbs because they're just not going to be strong enough. Now if you want to see a chart on which bulb to choose based off the distance, ZoomEd actually makes a really good chart that shows you the distance in inches based off the intensity of the bulb. So I highly recommend going to check that out. I did a lot when I was picking out bulbs for these guys. Unfortunately, Exoterra doesn't carry or doesn't have this chart, but you can base it off the back of it. They do have a light, I guess, sunshine kind of chart, so you can see that. It's on the back of all their bulbs, so you should be able to see that pretty easily. Now, we are using such a long bulb as opposed to a small one because the basking area is so big. So it really makes the whole area engulfed in this UVB that's emitted from this bulb. So the larger the area, the bigger the bulb, and the stronger the intensity you want for this lizard. Now this UVB bulb is a T8 bulb, which are being phased out for T5s. We have a T5 in the water dragon cage. They're more intense and need less electricity to power. So T8s are really being phased out. So you can go with this, but you do want to put a system in where eventually they will be gone and you won't be able to use them anymore. Unfortunately, the system that I have will have to be replaced in the years to come. But right now they work. You just need a strong lamp for a T8 because they're not as powerful as a T5. T5s are stronger, they use less electricity and stronger. It's better for you, better for them. So I highly recommend using T5s instead of T8s. Now another topic we're going to cover in this video is ambient temperature. Now on this side of the cage, it should be about 80 degrees Fahrenheit to 90 degrees. This is 93 right now, which is perfect, and that's just over here. And that's right around the temperature you want as an ambient temperature, which is just a fancy word for saying temperature inside the cage. Now the other temperature is around 80 that you want on the cold end. This is 86 right now. It is a little warm in the house. The heater did come on, so it is balancing out just a little bit, but you do want the colder side of the cage in the 80s to keep them comfortable. And this does create a temperature gradient, so it is cooler. He can get away from the heat, so he's not cooking all the time. As you can see, or maybe not, but he is going in the back right there. Some parts of the days he does retreat to the cold side, and you do want to give them the ability to do so. Now the final bulb we'll be covering, not something I'm going to temp gun, but this bulb that's back here, sorry it's hard to reach. Now the bulb I just showed you is a ceramic heat emitter. I'm not a big fan of ceramic heat emitters because you can't tell if they're giving off any heat. They don't produce any visible light, just heat, and the only way to find out that they're actually working is to use a temp gun or to touch them. Don't recommend doing this because they get very, very hot, and why would you want to burn yourself? So you normally just temp gun them. It apparently is working right now. Because it's almost the time for the lights to shut off, I do recommend a night cycle for them. If this is on, that means that they get heat at night, so they don't freeze or go into a brumation while in the night. Now, you do want the temperature in the cage to stay just around the 75 to 80 degree range. You don't want it too cold because they will go into brumation. And you don't want it too hot. In the wild, they don't have hot nights. So you do want that time for them to cool off and get away from the heat. Now with the ceramic heat emitter, you don't actually have to keep on during the day. There's no really need for it because unless your cold end becomes too cold, in which case you can use this as a backup or a thing to keep the cold side hot enough for the lizard, if that makes any sense. But this doesn't really need to be on during the day. Now the last bulb we're covering, it's not really a bulb, but it's a LED light right here, and this is just to illuminate the cage. I can quickly show a video of me adjusting it. It is on a dial so that people can actually see inside the cage. Unfortunately, these two lights don't provide that much light, so you do want to provide a LED light. It's not going to harm your reptile in any way, but it allows you to see the animal more and the animal to see you more. So I highly recommend putting LED lights in the cage. I have one in the water dragons, which I've showed you on a previous video. I do highly recommend using them. Now Bowser is starting to relax in the light. He's a little slow today because we haven't fed him yet, but as soon as there's food in front of him, he really gets going. But if we're just going to scan him, I highly recommend you guys getting a temp gun like this. It's just made by Mastercraft. So, it's good, works well. I think it works just as well as a reptile one. But if you don't want to pay the money for a reptile one, you could just get one from your hardware store. I could give you guys a quick visual of what I was talking about. This area right here, which is his back, obviously, does normally get burned when they are only exposed to one light bulb. So you don't want that. If you start to see your reptile getting scarred or burned, you do want to replace this bulb as quickly as possible. You don't want to get that burn very large because it won't really heal that properly. Now, reptiles do take a while to heal, so you're probably going to see that scar for a long time before it's actually gone, if it ever goes away. But that is pretty much it for heating and lighting. Basically, he needs to be very warm, multiple lights, and LEDs so you can see him doing whatever it is Tegus do during the day, which is mostly bask. Look for food. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. That's the end of the video. Nice short one for you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of heating and lighting. If you guys have any suggestions or if you have any comments, questions, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to head over to our Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok channels, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya. Thank you.